As the Regional Security Officer, or RSO, at the U.S. Embassy in Tripoli, I served as the Principal Security Advisor to U.S. Ambassadors Eugene Kretz and Chris Stevens on security and law enforcement matters. I want to thank the committee again for the opportunity to appear, provide further testimony in support of your inquiry into the tragic events of September 11, 2012. The committee's labors to uncover what happened prior, during, and after the attack matter. It matters to me personally, and it matters to my colleagues, at the Department of State.
Hello, I'm Esther Levens of the Unity Coalition for Israel, and in this video we feature our project democracyunderattack.com. We've been very concerned over the increasingly disturbing revelations during today's hearings by the House of Representatives Oversight Committee. 8 months after the 9/11 attack on the U.S. consulate in Benghazi, Libya. Today we're asking Frank Gaffney, Jr., founder and president of the Center for Security Policy in Washington, about the underlying issues regarding the attack. This is surely not the last we've heard about Benghazi, based on incriminating testimonies given today by brave and convincing whistleblowers. And now a little history about Frank Gaffney. He is the host of Secure Freedom Radio, a nationally syndicated radio program heard weeknights throughout the country. Additionally, Frank is the publisher and associate author of Sharia, The Threat to America. This was a key document released to the public September 11, 2010. And the revelations in that document helped to shift the 2010 midterm congressional elections. It also created general public awareness of the insurgency of Islamic Sharia law into the American court system, into financial arenas, and military and security policy. I just want to thank you for appearing with us. In your article in today's Washington Times, you wrote that the dam seems to be breaking on the nearly 8 months long cover-up concerning the deadly jihadist attack on Americans and their facilities in Benghazi, Libya. Please express your thoughts about how we got into Benghazigate in the first place.
Well, I think the way we got into this horrible policies that the Obama administration has been pursuing really since it came to office, that produced a series of efforts to engage, to legitimate, to empower, to fund, to arm even Islamists, which is to say those Muslims, not all of them by any means, but those Muslims that adhere to a doctrine or an ideology, if you will, that they call Sharia, which is supremacist in character and very dangerous to Muslims and non-Muslims alike, I believe. And as a result of not only doing all that, but really emboldening these Islamists, specifically in this case in Libya, where they helped overthrow a government and brought to power people who subscribe in broad outline this notion of the supremacy of Sharia. We got ourselves into a very serious pickle. Libya, awash with arms. Our ambassador there, a man who had helped engineer the overthrow of the Gaddafi regime, called to Benghazi, apparently late at night, for a meeting with the Turkish consul general to deal with what I think were the repercussions of some of those decisions, specifically arms transfers from Libya to Syria that had gone bad, or at least had been exposed. The fact that we were arming Al-Qaeda specifically was potentially a very serious problem for the United States government, and most especially President Obama as he was running for re-election. So I think that's how we got into this fix. And I pray that as we try to make sense of what happened in Benghazi and learn the proper lessons from it, one of those lessons will be the necessity of not further engaging, legitimating, empowering, emboldening, and so on, these very dangerous folks.
I see. And how do you think this will play out with the hearings that are going to be held? in the Congress?
We'll have more hearings tomorrow in the Oversight and Reform Committee in the House. But these will be the latest hearings in a whole slew of them that have been taking place over the past 7 months in as many as 5 different committees in the House of Representatives alone. There are some fireworks that have been widely telegraphed to take place there tomorrow. Specifically, some fairly senior people in the State Department who we're told, going to come forth and deviate from the party line that we've been fed for months now. Remains to be seen whether that's what will happen, Esther, but my guess is that what you're going to find is still more questions being raised and not anywhere near the definitive answers that we need to both learn the right lessons from what happened in the past and do our level best to ensure this kind of thing doesn't happen again.
This is probably going to be publicized, but not nearly enough. How do you suggest we get the word out to people who may be disinterested or just thinking about other things in their own lives?
Yeah, well, this is ever the problem, and few people have understood this better or worked harder to overcome it than you have, Esther, with Voices United for Israel and Unity Coalition. These are the sorts of groups that I think are critical to overcoming what is generally all too common in our country, which is not necessarily indifference, but just ignorance of the kinds of challenges we're facing as a people and the necessity of engaging as citizens in these kinds of public policy matters to make sure that our elected representatives don't ignore them as well, don't take our seeming indifference as a green light for inaction on their part. So I think a big piece of this is education. I think the press is beginning. We saw a front page story in the Washington Post today about all of this. I can't remember the last time that happened on the Benghazi story. And if there are fireworks tomorrow, it's a safe bet that you'll see people on the Hill paying more attention, people in the press paying more attention, and as a result, I think the American people paying more attention as well.
Well, that sounds encouraging because it's been 8 long months, as we know, and nothing has been done regarding apprehending the perpetrators. It's really frightening that they could get by with this without a loud shout from the public. All right, we'll continue, but with your help, I hope, certainly in a future interview that we'll talk about what can be done. And what I'd like to know now is what you feel should be done moving forward.
Well, just very quickly, one thing that I would encourage everybody to do is to get behind this idea of a select committee to actually get this sort of line of inquiry, this serious investigation conducted as quickly as possible. And if they'd like to lend their names to that effort, I encourage them to check out a website, endthecoverup.com. And we welcome their help in getting what I think is the kind of investigation that is really needed here finally taken.
We'll definitely take advantage of that and publicize that information. I certainly appreciate, and I'm very grateful to you for all of your research and your hard work connected with uncovering these dreadful things that are happening and should end with our educational system widely expanded with your help. Thank you so very much for all you do.
Thanks, sir. Thank you for all that you do, and it's a privilege to be able to work with you. Thank you very much.